Brain Ritzner here. Today I wanted to share with you the importance of not follow the crowd, just mindlessly. Oftentimes we think something popular or a lot of people, the more people believe in something, the certain things becomes more impressionably true. But then this is an illusion that we really have to fight against. We get burned a lot by blindly make things as a numbers game, in a sense, and it actually weakens our cognitive function and also our character. I realized this when I was a kid. When I, let's say, get scared of something, I immediately find some people, right, and then I hide behind this number of people. The more the people, I feel more secure. I mean, this is instinctively makes sense. Like if you're like back in the day when like human beings are like living in the wilderness, like you don't want to be alone. But collectively, if you're together, it feels secure. But then in this modern world, physical threat is not really the issue. It's more like a psychological thing that we do. When something gets a little uncomfortable, you just want to follow along somebody's that the more people believe in, you just want to join because you don't want to get isolated in your own thinking. But I realized that whenever I do, when I was a kid, I felt secure, but I also felt that this is really cowardly and it makes things myself weak. I wonder why I would not be able to just stand up for myself. It's as if I was hiding behind mother's skirt. It's something that you relinquish your responsibility to deal with it, and just have somebody else, anybody, take care of your the problems you have. And yeah, so I after a while, like this type of a mentality sort of continued, like off and on. I try to think for myself, but then this is I didn't quite understand how to do it, and it was quite obvious actually. This mentality was really bad, especially when I started doing some sort of like stock trading. And when I didn't have any knowledge, I did really stupid things, and I tended to just follow the crowd. No, even though I knew that's not a good strategy. Like so, when people start buying and the stock price is going up, that's the time I buy, and then things goes going downhill. The price is low, which I'm losing money, but then I sell it. So I did exactly the opposite of what it should have really do. So this type of mentality really have a significant monetary or time problems if we don't know how to control the impulse that we have from probably ancestry, like from the genetic, to hide behind the crowd or follow the crowd. And we really need to understand this crowd psychology here. So why it's so difficult for human beings to really think once we're in a crowd, like there's this bunch of people inside the crowd, like any sort of situation, like a concert, stock market, or even school, a bunch of people congregate. We're not really thinking for ourselves. Like we're just kind of following everybody else is doing, and and it's some sort of like a collective thinking is going on, like a shared consciousness, so to speak. And this happens very likely, somebody says like, what, three is already a crowd, like three people. What it does really is, when you're with somebody, you just kind of assuming that you give the lead, because thinking is hard to the other person. And why we tend to do that is, if we give somebody else's a lead, we don't have to take responsibility. So what's happening is, in case things go wrong in any way, you don't have to take responsibility because somebody else is already doing it, and then they're the leader, so they should be the one punished. You're just following order, in a sense. So we have this type of like cutting corner mechanism in our mind, and we really have to watch out for this tendency. And it really comes down, like, as my story when I was a kid. It's just like the number of people we have, we feel really secure, right? Just for the comfort of the mass. You're part of the group, and the number actually is, in a sense, like the wall you surround yourself. But then somehow we have to really break that, at least in a thought process, so that we don't get into this cognitive illusion that everything is okay just because you follow each other. Then if there is the crowd and everybody's following each other, who is actually taking the lead? Probably nobody. And what's really happening is, when somebody says something feel good about, even though this is really, in a rational sense, very irrational, but then emotionally sound great, and if people start agreeing with each other on that topic, then that start getting more traction. Like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Oh, that sounds great. And then nobody's really want to think. They just want to agree. And then everybody agree each other. That kind of social proof. And this going to go kind of exponential spread, in a sense. So if we do this type of thinking, then why you understand the crowd behavior is quite dangerous, because it's not like you're explaining somebody that then this is right or wrong in a detail. It's just that everything is feel good, right? Something feel good, but then how much things in this life are actually good to do when it just sounds good? It's more like an impulsive action. So when you see a crowd, you see people doing the rioting or thieving. I mean, if you just put these people just out of the crowd and then put it, and then one or two people and just do it together, most people just don't. But then there are so many people there, they feel protected. They don't feel responsible, even if they get caught. It's like, oh, 100 other people are doing it. So what's wrong, that type of things. And some people might say like, okay, but then is this the idea of the democracy, right? Like one of the celebrated idea of political system. But the problem of a democracy, so for instance, United States is not really a democracy. It is a democratic republic. What it mean is like the founding fathers knows that the democracy, like majority rules, will degenerate into the mob rule. Means it's like just like mob, right? Like uncontrolled hysteria and very quite dangerous. It goes really extreme. If somebody like a demagogue, like people who can rally things up, comes up and present in a certain his agenda into very excitable way, that type of things becomes great things to do, even though it's actually horrible. You can see this kind of phenomenon in let's say entertainment industry. Some of the behavior that people subscribe are very popular and it looks cool, but if you actually do it, it is actually really detrimental to your life. So yeah, so just to tie up with the political things, United States is not democracy as it is, but it's have a Republican system. Means like they pull out the representative from each region, so it's not no longer just a mass of people doing people who are not really thinking or that type of thing, the specialized people that who are actually tasked to think, tasked to represent, go there and then make some kind of law or systems or frameworks to make the country run. And it's extremely crucial. So electoral college, especially, this is to protect America from, in a way, the mob rule. Some people just don't quite. I don't want to get into this too much about the political system, but it is an ingenious idea to not to have the one populous area that, let's say, Los Angeles or New York or California or those populous states where people tends to just follow the crowd mentality, which is actually not great. I mean, people just don't think because of the number. The more than euphoria, irrational thinking going on will dictate all entire United States government policy. So it is really critical to not degenerate into the mob rules, like a crowd mentality. It is really critical. Yeah, so the founding fathers of the United States actually knew this. Now, it's actually really tempting to follow the crowd. Another thing is like, let's say for the investment or anything of the sort, right? Like, let's say that your next door neighbors or whoever, a bunch of people start making money by not doing anything. It's just a hype of like a stock market or some sort of like a business scheme, investment scheme. It's called like fear of missing out. And you look at it, it's like, wow, they're not doing anything, but their money is multiplying in a sense, right? But then these are most often it's just a trap, like especially if it happens within a span of, let's say, a few years. Okay, few years is quite seems long time, but then in the investment span, it's very short. So it's somebody's, like especially people who don't understand anything about the business, a particular business or investment, and then they just put the money and they start making a lot of return. It's most likely that this is crowd-based psychological. It's called like uh, exuberance, irrational exuberance, to the point that people just it's like the mania. I mean, you can read about those. Even Isaac Newton actually was that he got caught up in the psychology of crowd, and he lost a lot of money, probably a few $1 million in today's amount. Even it's not really anything to do with intelligence. It's more like you aware of this kind of crowd psychology, and you can prevent that. If you watch it, just say, hey, like this is crazy. You guys can make all the money, but then I'm out. That's the mentality that you need unless you really understand the market or what you're doing. This even the Isaac Newton didn't know, and he actually talked about it. And yeah, so just be aware. Yeah, so it's really feels secure, even though if let's say if you fail together, right? Like you follow this crowd and then everybody gets burned, but you kind of feel that you're not the only sucker. Yeah, but they feel not secure. But then is this a good strategy that you just follow the crowd and then burnt and then everybody got broke? That's actually not a great strategy at all. So yeah, and the difficulty really is like how would you know how do you resist the temptation of resisting the influence of the crowd, right? Like it's really exciting. Like other people are, if you watch like TVs like on like a sports channel, everybody's like cheering and all that. Or if you go to the music concert, everybody's like excited. I mean, these type of things are very natural. So what what is how are you gonna really resist it? You just understand that there are serious risks within the crowd. So you enjoy it, that's fine. But then it's like a lemming, right? Like the story of lemming, like a bunch of lemmings just follow each other, and then one jumped off from a cliff, and everybody just jumped off. Or the story about like somebody lied about something, right? And then but then lie keep going and then going, and everybody believing in the lie, and then lie turned into kind of like a truth, and you follow the lie that even you are the one, let's say, instigated the lie. You start believing in the truth yourself. This whole irrationality can be happening in the crowd. So watch out. And also physically, I mean, financially, it's a problem, right? Like a scams, like pyramid scams and investment scams. A lot of those are hyped up by crowd, take advantage of a crowd mentality. If they just make sure that as if everybody is winning. That's when the charlatan comes up and then take all the money and then just disappear. And everybody is a bag holder. Means it's like everybody lost all the money. And physically, when you're in crowd, actually, quite it's risky the most of the time, because let's say if you have like a like a packed stadium or something, like if there's a fight broke out or fire broke out or something like that, your movement is extremely limited, and then you might get stampede by the crowd, and then there's a substantial risk by being inside of the crowd. So the goal really is to have the independent thinking, no matter somebody believe A or some, like a majority of people believe A. It's not really about the being a contrarian or anything like that. It is. It doesn't really matter. You agree or disagree with the crowd. Sometimes crowd might be right. Like popular opinion could be right or could be wrong. And then if you just kind of thinking, okay, I'm like a rebel type, I'm going against the crowd. I just want to, whatever the popular opinion, I go the other way. But the problem is that the other way has their own crowd. So you're just going along with the other crowd. It doesn't make any difference. It's just the degree of irrationality. It's the same irrationality, actually. Just the degree of the people, number of people that believe in just less. So it's really crucial. You don't base anything on the number of people believing it. What you really need to do is to really gather facts as much as possible yourself. This is a difficult part. And when you gather the facts that you can actually acquire, you gotta dig deep, because it's up to you to actually reach the conclusion, which is hopefully it's a truth. And explore the opposite opinions, right? You don't want to just confirmation bias means like you believe this is right, so you just study that this is right, those articles. That's ridiculous. You always look for the counter argument, even though you might not like it. You got to listen to it. You got to see their data and make sure that then which data are relevant and more truthful. And then if you have all these facts together, then you think rationally, means like logically, kind of compare each other or think about the context of each thing, and then you draw the conclusion. And then once you do that, well, the crowd might disagree, crowd might agree, but then that's your position, and that's how you can best navigate this crowd mentality here. So if you be aware of this, I wouldn't. This is an enormous power actually you can have. Not just that you can prevent yourself from not being influenced by crowd psychology, like you're no longer kind of shifting around by, like, let's say, mainstream media or whatever the propaganda you have, because it's all utilize the crowd psychology. But then you can actually utilize this knowledge to sway the crowd. Like you make the population to your advantage. But then that the power comes from really, power requires the strength of character. Otherwise, you're gonna get corrupted. Like you will use those power for simply just the benefit of only yourself, and you might get into you might become a grifters, scammers, cutting corners and stuff. So make sure that if you understand this type of psychology, it's a quite powerful thing. So use it well, and just to help other people and do good. Hi, thank you for watching. Please write down your idea in the comment section below to help each other. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe and hit bell button to be notified a new video. See you next time.